Good evening, Shabbat Shalom. There is out there a great deal of stress and uncertainty. The uncertainty of what's happening with COVID, the uncertainty of a week with a US election, which will affect us all. But we have the opportunity just to take a moment, to stop and to breathe and to reflect, to have a Shabbat of restoration and renewal. So in this transition moment before the week ahead, we take some time to insulate ourselves and the world around us and turn to page 104 to sing together. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'chuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As we begin the journey into Kabbalat Shabbat, we pause for a moment to reflect on how Shabbat might be a source of rejuvenation and renewal for us, as we turn to our shul sheet for an adapted poem by Rabbi Arthur Green. The extra soul of Shabbat does not come floating down from heaven at a particular time in the evening. The soul is there within us all week long, but it is afraid to come out. It fears being trampled by the way we live, shouted down by the clamor of ordinary life. But on Erev Shabbat, we promise it. It's all right. You can come out now. For the next 24 hours, we promise to live at a different pace, not to get angry watching politicians on TV, to spend time with the people we love, to make space to reflect and to rest. We promise it. It's safe. You can come out now. Adonai Oz le'amo yitzen Adonai yevarech et amo. Adonai Oz le'amo yitzen Adonai yevarech et amo.
P'nei Shabbat nekabala, bohichala, 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 bohichala. P'nei Shabbat nekabala, bohichala, bohichala, bohichala. L'charori, l'charori, l'kakala. P'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'charori, l'charori, l'kakala. P'nei Shabbat nekabala.
I invite you, if you have your own candles, to join me in lighting the Shabbat candles. You can find the blessing, which we'll say together on the shore sheet. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Bohichala, bohichala, p'nei Shabbat nekabala. Bohichala, 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabala. Bohichala, bohichala, bohichala. L'charori, l'charori, l'kakala. P'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'charori, l'charori, l'kakala. P'nei Shabbat nekabala. On page 121. L'charori likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'charori likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'charori, l'charori likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'charori likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabala. Shamo v'zacho b'dibur echad, ishmi'alenu elam yuchad. Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo l'tiferet v'litila. L'charori, l'charori likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'charori likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabala. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki imako habracha, meherosh mikedem lesucha, so ma'aseh b'machashat techila. L'charori, l'charori likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'charori likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabala. Hitorari, hitorari, kiva orek uri uri, uri uri, shehidaberi, kavod Adonai alayich nigla. L'charori, l'charori likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'charori likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat Shabbat nekabela. Bo'im v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'b'tola, toch emunei am segula. Bohi chala, lecha dodi, lecha dodi lekakala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi lekakala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
This moment in the service, we recognize that as many of us come to Shabbat in search of renewal, there are those of us who come seeking comfort in a time of mourning. And to them we say, as a community, Hamakom yinachem etchem b'toch sha'ah ha'avelim. May the ever-present comfort you together with all who mourn.
We're on page 124, Mizmor Shir Le'Yom HaShabbat, a psalm to sing for Shabbat day.
Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ולזמר לשבחה עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשבחה עליון. יאי לי להגיד בבוקר, בבוקר חסרה, ואמונת רבה לאלוהים. להגיד בבוקר חסרה, ואמונת רבה לאלוהים. טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשבחה עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשבחה עליון. יאי לי להגיד בבוקר, בבוקר חסרה, ואמונת רבה לאלוהים. להגיד בבוקר חסרה, ואמונת רבה לאלוהים. טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וחינוך, כי שמחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. איש בא לא ידע, וכסיל לא יבין את זאת. בפרח רשעים כמו עשב, ויציצו כל פועלי אבן, להישמדם עדי עד. ואתה מרום לעולם אדוני, כי הנה אויביך אדוני, כי הנה אויביך יאבדו, יתפרדו כל פועלי אבן. ותרם קרן קני בלותי בשמן רענן, ותביתני בשורי, בקמים עליים רעים, תשמענה אוזני.
צדיק אדמה יפרח יפרח, צדיק אדמה יפרח, צדיק אדמה יפרח יפרח, צדיק אדמה יפרח. כארץ בלבנון יזכה, כארץ בלבנון יזכה, כארץ בלבנון יזכה, יזכה. כארץ בלבנון יזכה, כארץ בלבנון יזכה, כארץ בלבנון יזכה, יזכה. צדיק אדמה יפרח יפרח, צדיק אדמה יפרח, צדיק אדמה יפרח יפרח, צדיק אדמה יפרח. כארץ בלבנון יזכה, כארץ בלבנון יזכה, כארץ בלבנון
balvanon yizke, keres balvanon yizke, yizke. Shtulim b'veit Adonai b'chatzras Eloheinu yafrichu. Odinu v'um b'sevad shenim v'ra'ananim yehiyu. Lahagid ki asha Adonai, Suri v'lo avlata bo. We're on page 127. We rise together for Baruchu. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Adonai, Please be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poter sha'arim, v'tvuna mishana itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'masadeh et hakochavim b'mishmorateihem b'rakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla golel or mibnei choshech, v'choshech mibnei or, hama'avi yom u'mevi layla, u'mavdil bein yom u'vein layla, Adonai tzavaot shemo, Baruch atah Adonai, Ma'ariv, Aravim. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochmeinu, v'kumeinu nasiach v'chukecha, v'nismach v'divrei Toratecha, v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'em. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, u'vahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Be'ahavatecha al tarsi, mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev et amo Yisrael. Shem kavod malchuto le'olam ha'ed. V'avta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol ma'adecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al vavecha v'shnantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'vlechtecha v'aderech u'shochbecha u'vkumecha u'shartam la'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot beineinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha. We'll come together for the third paragraph of Shema in a moment on page 134. Vayom Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael v'amata lehem, v'asur lahem tzitzit, al kanfei v'gdehem l'dorotam, v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf v'til techelet, v'haya lachem letzitzit uritem oto uzchatem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam v'lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei nechem asher atem zonim achareihem למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Emet ve'emunah kol zot v'kayam aleinu, ki hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ein zulato, ve'anachnu Yisrael amo, ha'osei gedolot ad ein cheker, ve'niflaot ad ein mispal, ve'ra'u vanav gevurato shibchu v'hodu lishmo, u'malchuto v'ratzon kiblu aleihem, Moshe u'Miriam u'v'nei Yisrael lecha'anu shira b'simcha rabba, ve'amru chulam.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha medar b'kodesh noratehi lo tosefele noratehi lo tosefele
Malchutecha Adonai Eloheinu, ra'u vanecha al hayam, yachad kulam hodu v'himlichu va'amaru, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, v'ne'emar kifada Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch ata Adonai, ga'al Yisrael.
We've come to the end of the 12th of Cheshvan, known in Israel as Rabbin Memorial Day. And this year, the Friday that's just ending, marks the 25th anniversary of the day on which he was assassinated. A day on which, for many of us, great hopefulness about the future of peace in the Middle East was replaced with sadness and horror. So as we turn to our prayers for peace and protection, we take a moment to think about what could have been and what still might be, turning to our shul sheets for the vision of peace from the prophet Micah.
It will be in the days to come that the mountain of the house of the Eternal shall stand firm above the mountains. It shall tower above the hills. The people shall gaze on it with joy, and the many nations shall go and shall say, "Come, let us go to the mountain of the Eternal, to the house of the God of Jacob, that we may be instructed in God's ways, and that we may walk in God's paths. For instruction shall come forth from Zion, the word of the Eternal from Jerusalem. Thus God will judge among the many peoples and arbitrate for the multitude of nations, however distant. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not take up sword against nation. They shall never again know war. But every person shall sit under their grapevine or fig tree, with no one to disturb them. For it was the God of hosts who spoke. Though all the peoples walk in the names of their gods, we will walk in the name of the Eternal our God, forever and ever."
And the Israeli poet Yehuda Amichai added an appendix to this vision of peace. He wrote, "Don't stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and make musical instruments out of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn them into plowshares first." Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'lamo Yisrael, v'al kol ha'olam.
V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
We rise together for the Amidah on page 140. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Emoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imaot, U'mevii Goel Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo v'Yahava, Melech Ozer Moshe U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Poked Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופך עולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני יפה, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמנת לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. And we continue with the Amidah for ourselves, coming together for our prayer for healing that you'll find on our shul sheets. back in March and April and May, when we came to this moment in our services, we would always sing together the words Ana Elna, praying together for healing for those in need of our care. This powerful prayer for healing accompanied us through that first wave, and it accompanies us again as people in our community begin to once again get sick and be in hospital, not only from COVID, but from other diseases. These words, this powerful prayer for healing, reminding us of the power of words, but reminding us too that we are the source of healing. We are the ones who, through our love and care, provide for others in our community. So as we reintroduce these words from Numbers back into our services once again, we commit to look after those in need of our support and our prayers, and we call on God to bring them healing through us.
Shalom, b'mona, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. Oh, say shalom b'mromav, say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. Oh, say shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. Oh, say shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen.
Hitalech lefanai vehiyeh tamim. So God instructs Abraham at the beginning of our Torah portion tomorrow morning, walk before me and be perfect. The rabbis, always acutely aware of the use of language in Torah, notice that the way God speaks to Abraham is different to the description of Noah. Noah, the Torah has told us, was a righteous man who walked with God. But Abraham is instructed not to walk with God, but to walk before God. To the rabbis, this difference reflected a difference in moral and religious maturity between the two. According to Rabbi Yehuda in Breshit Rabbah, the difference can be compared to a king with two children, one grown up and the other a child. To the child, the king said, walk with me, but to the adult, walk before me, just as we do with our children. Our little ones, hold my hand. Our older ones, walk ahead of us. Abraham is grown up enough to walk ahead, while Noah is not. This idea of moral maturity, requiring us to walk before God, ahead of God, is a powerful one. It recognizes that it is not enough, metaphorically, to simply hold someone's hand. To be morally mature is to be brave enough to lead the way, to do something different. And this is not something that Noah can achieve. While he lives a righteous life, he is unable to challenge that which he sees around him. As Jonathan Sacks has put it of Noah, righteousness is not the same as leadership. But Abraham, flawed as he is, and he is, challenges not only other people, but even God at Sodom and Gomorrah. Because leadership requires that you walk in front, and sometimes that you walk alone. For so many of the strands of this Shabbat, this idea, hitalech lefanai, feels very relevant. As we mark the 25th anniversary of the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin, it was this in his character, that ability to walk ahead, which meant that his death was such a loss, so shocking, so substantial. He was a leader who walked ahead of us, who was willing to step forwards beyond that which was easy to make sure that he did that which was right. And as we think about the week just past, and indeed the week ahead, we might well apply this idea to leadership in our time too. To walk before is about willingness to challenge, willingness to do the right thing, even if it won't necessarily be easy, enable you to find favor with those you lead. And it is this that we now see green shoots of, re-emerging in the Labour Party in response to the EHRC report into anti-Semitism released this week. And it is this, indeed, that we know that the whole world needs, and are perhaps tentatively hopeful that Tuesday night might provide for us all. But hitalech lefanai, walk before me, is not only about leadership. With these words in our portion tomorrow, God establishes the covenantal relationship between God and the Jewish people. It is not only leaders who must walk ahead, not only Abraham. As Jews, to walk before God is our task. It is our task not simply to stick to the rules, not to do the easy thing, the expedient thing, not to do that which others do, but to do that which we know is the right thing. And as we face our challenges right now, facing a challenge of winter dominated by coronavirus, more weeks, more months of limitations in our lives, we have to consider what it means to walk before God, to be those exemplars of thoughtful, responsible behavior, of standing alone if we must, of challenging those around us, that God demanded of Abraham that he be. In so many ways, this is the Shabbat in which we have to ask, can we, hitalech lefanai v'hyeh tamim, can we find it within ourselves to walk before God, and perhaps not quite to be perfect, but to strive to be the best that we can be. Shabbat Shalom.
Shkor. We read the words of Micah earlier in the service, and considering how we might perfect the world, bring the world into a better place. Our Siddur provides us on page 312 with a slightly alternative Aleinu, which brings back these words of Micah, that while others walk in the name of their gods, we walk in the name of the Eternal. So we read together on page 312. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula liyotzeh bereshit, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, ki kol ha'amim yelchu ish b'shem Elohav, va'anachnu nelech b'shem Adonai Eloheinu le'olam va'ed, shehu notei shamayim v'yosed aretz, u'mashav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, u'shinat uzor b'govhei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu efes zulato, kakatu b'torato, ve'etchem lakach Adonai, ve'yotze etchem mikor habarzel mimitzrayim, lehiyot lo la'am nachala kayom hazeh. Therefore, Almighty God, we put our hope in you. Soon let us witness the glory of your power, when the worship of material things shall pass away from the earth, and prejudice and superstition shall at last be cut off. When the world will be set right by the rule of God, and all humanity shall speak out in your name, and all the wicked of the earth shall turn to you, then all who inhabit this world shall meet in understanding, and shall know that we are all partners in the repairing of your world. For yours alone is the true reign, and only the glory of your rule endures forever. So it is written in your Torah, the Eternal shall rule forever and ever.
Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shamo echad. We turn to page 316 and prepare to sanctify the name of God with the words of the Kaddish. As we do so, we join with all of those in our community family who are on this Shabbat in mourning. We stand with all of those in the Shloshim and the Shana, the period since the loss of a loved one. And together with those who mourn, we remember on the anniversary of their deaths, Elizabeth Abraham, Rabbi Ephraimian, Jeffrey Azen, Darren Ali, David Avner, Joan Benson, Daniel Betzalel, Michael Brand, Lorraine Bruckner, Aaron Cohen, Ernest Cowan, Paula Dannenberg, Gerald de Botton, Faye Deckers, Rebecca Delman, Samuel Dewian, Felicia Epstein, Sarah Friedman, Olga Gaffson, Conrad Gold, Faye Green, Colin Haley, Sylvia Hayward, Don Hilson, George Holden, Philip Joseph, Eva Josephs, Rachel Kossoff, David Leonard Roseman, Felix Levy, Gerald Lyons, Rose Lyons, Richard Michael Sherrington, Jean Pearl, Doris Rifkin, Esther Ross, Paul Roswick, Miriam Salomon, Pamela Schwartz, Betty Simon, Bernard Sinclair, Vera Soman, Bertha Vida, Sydney Wolfson, and Vera Zamet. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Loving memory, we invite all those who mourn to join with me as I lead the Mourners' Kaddish on page 316. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dichol beit Yisrael. B'agala v'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah m'varach la'alam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitromam v'yitnasei. V'yitada v'yitalei v'yitalal shemei kudsha b'richu. La'ela min kol bechata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Diamiran ba'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol ha'olam v'imru Amen. In this world of great uncertainties, we hope that the thing you can rely on in your lives is that Eilith is here. We are committed to continuing to be as rich and reliable a program as possible throughout these extraordinary times. So whatever you know about the world, the one thing we hope you always know is that at 6:30 on a Friday night and at 10:30 on a Shabbat morning, we will be here on this bima for as long as we can be. In your weekly email this week, and we apologize to anyone with BT internet because you may well not have received it. BT decided it didn't like Eilith this week. But in our weekly email this week or via the synagogue website, you can find the full program of services and study all our regular activities in November. So you can plan November knowing that Eilith is here for you. And tomorrow, we have a full program tomorrow morning. Starting at 9 o'clock with an in-person service. I think, certainly as I came into this Beit Tefillah, there was one space left if you want to pre-book for an in-person service with me at 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow in the youth hall. At 9:15, our JMM team will start their program. And then there are two services online at 10:30 tomorrow morning. In here, Rabbi Elliot will be here with Katie and Julianne at the piano for our Shabbat morning service. Cantor Tamara, who is just coming to the end of quarantine, having returned from a break in America, will be reading Torah from home. Rabbi Colin will be preaching from home, and there'll be lots of members involved as well. As it is the 5th Shabbat of the month, we have our regular well-being service, which will be taking place led by Lynette and Justin Wise. So a full program tomorrow, as you will see, a full program running through the month of November and throughout this winter, whatever it may bring. On this anniversary, 25th anniversary of the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin, as we prepare for Kiddush, we're going to sing together our hopes for peace. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Salam. Salam, salam, aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu,
עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם. סלאם, סלאם, סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם. סלאם, סלאם.
And on page 452, I invite you, if you have Kiddush at home, to join with me. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, בשבת קודשו, באהבה ורצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי באנו וחטא, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
Amen.
L'chaim. And we have a special l'chaim as we drink, a special toast and l'chaim to John and Jill on the birth of Max, a grandson, to Ben and to Chloe. Mazel tov to John and Jill. We wish you Mazel tov. We wish you all Shabbat Shalom. And we will now unmute you all and give you the opportunity to wish one another Shabbat Shalom and to wish John and Jill a huge Mazel tov on the birth of Max. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, daughter.
Mazel tov, Jill and John. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov, John and Jill.
Mazel tov.
Jason. Mazel tov, John and Jill.
Shabbat Shalom, Adam.
Mazel tov.
Shabbat Shalom, Sharon.
Shalom, Aubrey.
How can I get the phone?
Shabbat Shalom, Gideon.
Stay well, stay
Shabbat
safe.
Shalom, Janice.
There you are.
Thank you, everybody.
Shalom, Karan.
Wish you long life, Andrew.
There you go. You're on there now. Okay. So it's funny that we do it on the...
Yes. Hi, Jill.
Hi.
Hi, Jill and Jill.
Hello, hello, Janice. I'm trying to work out how you get everybody on here. On the
See half your body.
Shabbat Shalom.
Bye all.
Well,
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Leave the meeting. How do we leave the meeting? Leave there.
How do I turn it on?
There is the
Shabbat Shalom, Aubrey.